What is up, YouTube, and welcome back to another Fridge Financials video. In today's video, we are back with episode 2 of Pockets to Profit. Now, this is a series where we take the side hustle money that I have made outside of my teaching salary and we put it into the market, buying up stocks, buying up companies that I personally like. Again, none of this is financial advice, but that's kind of what our goal is here, is to see if we can grow the side hustle money into a lot more. So if you are excited for today's video, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and as always, turn on those bell notifications for all future uploads. And before we get into the video, then to the stocks that I'm looking at here, I have 3 on the list for today that I bought up. I first want to say thank you, everybody, because now, as you will see, Fridge Financials is a YouTube partner. What does that mean? I can now start to monetize videos through ads, essentially live streams, memberships, all that kind of stuff. And I honestly couldn't have been anywhere close to this without all of you watching and supporting. I'm not quite at the AdSense yet part. I need 4,000 watch hours. I'm at around 3,000 something. So if you're watching this video and you want to help me out a little bit, feel free to watch some videos. But besides that, this is absolutely amazing. And I cannot thank each and every single one of you enough for all the support, all the comments, and everything over the years here. So we absolutely are going to be grinding even harder now, because now I can get paid for it. And part of the Pockets to Profit, what I'll probably do, any money I make from YouTube, whether it's through ad revenue, through memberships, whatever, I'm dumping that back in the market as well to grow this challenge even more. So thank you guys so much for doing that. If you have any questions or you need any kind of ideas as to how to monetize a membership, because I have no clue what I would want to offer, leave it down in the comment section below. Without further ado, let's get all that boring stuff out of the way. Let's jump right into the 3 stocks we're looking at here. So what we are looking at is, last week we bought 4 major companies. The 4 major companies were Ondas, SoundHound, Big Bear AI, and Xpeng. So those 4 were the companies we bought last week. We have 3 more that are being bought up this week. I'll give you guys a little bit of an idea as to each one. Look at the financials a little bit, look at the charts a little bit, and then you can see I have a spreadsheet that's going to be tracking all the overall money we've gotten made, all the money that we have made or lost. I don't really know yet. But so this week and last week, because I get paid every 2 weeks, over the last 2 weeks, I made $373.47 through side hustles, tutoring. We get paid to cover other teachers' classes as well. I had a training that I was able to do that I got paid for as well, which is great. So I made $373.47. I still have quite a bit of more money coming in, which will come out probably around Christmas time. So we'll be able to buy up more shares of companies here. And we went out and we did some shopping. And the shopping that you will see is that I went out and bought Wrecker Systems, Oyster or Ouster, I can't really pronounce it right, and Rich Tech Robotics. So these were the 4 from last week. We bought Ondas, Big Bear AI, Xpeng, and SoundHound. This week we went out and bought Wrecker Systems, Oyster or Ouster, I don't really know anymore, and Rich Tech Robotics. What you will notice with this challenge, the stocks I have 14 stocks on my watch list to build this up with. A lot of it is technology and heavily driven AI plays for the future, but the thing is about it is that each of the stocks has a little bit of a different role, and you're going to see why, right? So for example, Big Bear AI focuses more on defense contracts. People say it's the next Palantir. My last video covered that. Xpeng, basically, again, another electric vehicle. They're also looking at getting into robotics as well. SoundHound is using audio with AI, which I think is absolutely awesome. Ondas is focusing on drones and using drones in, maybe defense applications, those kind of things there. So a little bit of difference here for everything as we look. Now, for these next 3 here, so we have Wrecker Systems, OUST, and Rich Tech Robotics. Now, starting off by looking at the valuations of all these companies here, they're not amazing. I'm not going to sit there and say, oh my God, these are the best things ever. They're not amazing. These are very, very much, penny stock, risky plays. None of these are profitable yet overall. But again, some of these companies, the way you buy in could be when you are actually, buying in for they're profitable here, right? So OUST, excuse me, I've been battling a cold a little while here. So going back into OUST here, okay, so basically what they are here is me buying the shares up here. I bought, I don't know if it's like $100 or something like that. So Oyster Incorporated engages in the provision of high-resolution digital LiDAR sensors that offer advanced 3D vision to machinery, vehicles, robots, and fixed infrastructure assets. Company was founded by okay, nobody cares. So focusing on LiDAR, digital sensors, machinery, vehicles, robots. Again, as you can see, a bunch of technology, infrastructure, all that kind of stuff there. What I do like about it is the LiDAR sensor aspect of things. I've been watching a lot of like History Channel recently, and watching a lot of really cool documentaries and how they gather data and some of that. And LiDAR is a huge part in it. And there's still so many more things that you can discover and develop here. So I was like, oh my God, this is pretty cool. So using technology along with robots, along with, machinery and stuff like that for LiDAR sensors to keep exploring the world and to keep finding new things, whether it's fossils, whether it's, burial sites, whatever the case is. I think it's absolutely awesome. So that's kind of, I was like, you know what? I kind of like that. And taking a look at their earnings per share that you'll see here. Again, they're still negative overall. They're not a profitable company, but you can see that they're kind of starting to bridge this gap recently, which is very good. They were missing. Now they're kind of getting almost in line with expectations. They're also starting to hopefully have a little bit more of a come up here. Again, this is below was like, negative 50 cents, it looks like. And now they're estimating to be at like negative 24 cents per share. So very slowly starting to get there, about $100 worth, as you can see here. And taking a look at their actual financials, they're not profitable. Again, this is a small company. It's like $1 billion only. So it's a very small company in retrospect of things. Again, the returns are negative, which obviously is because the money you get in, you put it right back out. But what I do like and what I appreciate is that, we do have quarterly revenue growth, 40% year over year, which is absolutely awesome. Not going to complain about that. Their debt to equity is not super high, which is also very, very nice. Current ratio is obviously okay-ish in this case. Again, they don't have cash flow because, again, they're a growing company. They're taking their money, they're dumping it right back into the markets, right? So that's something to kind of keep in mind about when you're looking at these kind of companies here, is that they're taking money and dumping it right back in. If we take a look at the stock as a charting perspective here. So what I like to do here, and again, I know it looks very, very bizarre at first glance. What I like to do for each of these companies is I chart out 3 different fib levels. Blue, yellow, and purple are my 3 fib levels here. And what you will kind of see here is that we had a retest of the 1920 a little while ago. We had a little bit of rally up. So now it looks like we're going to be pushing closer to that $30 mark right here, where all 3 different fib levels at 3 different times all kind of seem to line up around that one. So I'm not going to be shocked if it comes up to about the $30 mark. If it breaks through that one, the next level of resistance will be $33.80. And taking a look at the EMAs, you can see that we had a recent crossover between the 9 EMA and the 20, which means you got a little more momentum. Starting to get a little bit of a pullback here. We'll see if it continues to rise up or we get a little bit more of a pullback. If it does, comes back down to the 200 EMA maybe, could make a huge difference. But overall, I like the company. I like it. I'm going to do a lot more research, obviously, instead of just looking, at face value. But these are companies where I'm like, you know what? LiDAR technology. I would keep watching the History Channel, and I see so many different documentaries, so many different, series that come out. I think it's absolutely awesome. Again, very high beta, so it's very, very risky. The volatility is there, which is, going to be either good for us or bad for us. But, obviously we shall see. Only time will tell. So that's our first one that we've got. Our second one that we bought up was Rich Tech Robotics, which is a huge popular one amongst a lot of traders in the communities, no matter what. Again, they focus on developing robots, but using them for hotels, restaurants, living centers, casinos, factories, those kind of things. Kind of just makes you think of, it's just using robots to operate in these kind of spaces instead. Some people are already starting to see the robots being put into, these hospitality plays and stuff like that. It's robots perform a variety of services, including restauranting and busing, hotel room service, floor scrubbing, vacuuming, beverage and food preparation, all that kind of stuff there. It is the future. We see Elon Musk talk about robotics all the time and stuff like that with Optimus. Xpeng was a play I got into for the robotic side also, they're mostly an EV play. But as we take a look, again, their earnings per share has been basically right at expectations every single time. Now, they had a little bit of a fall off here down to about 5 cents negative. Now they're starting to kind of have a little bit of a rally back up. I bought $98.47 of that one. That was the leftover change, essentially, that we're seeing here. And then, again, and taking a look at Rich Tech Robotics here, And taking a look at their market cap, first of all, has been growing exponentially. It's absolutely amazing. I mean, taking a look at that, $89, $80, or 89 million, 80 million, 290 million, which is a crazy jump, 227 million, and currently now it's sitting at 817 million. It's been a huge rally over the last little while. Profit margin is at 0. Operating margin obviously is super negative. But again, return on assets are also going to be negative here. The only thing that kind of sucks right now for them that's more risky is their quarterly revenue growth is down 18% year over year, which we're not a big fan of. But debt to equity ain't too bad. It's really, really good. It's very, very low, which is absolutely awesome. Current ratio is super high, which means they probably have a lot of money coming out short term, which we do not like to see. So a little more of a risky play. But again, I've seen their products from their videos and stuff like that, and they've done very, very well. And they seem like they're going to be very, very, beneficial to a lot of companies long term, right? If people are looking at cutting back money, cutting back on cutting back on overhead, potentially cutting back on, staffers, robots is the future of it, So they're focusing more on the hospitality play, restaurants, senior citizens, centers, hotels, all that kind of stuff there. And taking a look at the actual chart for Rich Tech Robotics here, this is actually very, very nice. Again, I do the same thing. And again, this is not the end-all be-all of what we're looking at here, but you can take a look and see these levels have been drawn out from a little while ago. They're not like brand new levels I just drew out for the YouTube channel. But as you'll see, these levels here, it came up and basically touched that $77.50 mark for my purple fib level. And I kind of look to see where the patterns are going to be. And it seems like right now, again, it comes back down. It retested at $2.90, and now we're kind of on the up and up till probably about $4.83. Which, again, is pretty good. And what you'd be looking at, if you're looking at a potential return there, let's take a look here. You're looking at, about a 10% upside potential, maybe a little bit higher than that, potentially, which, again, is absolutely awesome. It's actually more than that. I don't know why it's saying $4.37, but you're looking at probably, a 15-20% return, which, is very, very good for the short term. And again, it has been able to rally up. It had a huge rally here, as you'll see. And once that momentum goes with these kind of companies, it just keeps on flowing, right? Taking a look at the EMAs, again, we had a nice little crossover here. So the 9 EMA is crossed over the 20, which means that there's a lot more short-term momentum with it. So right now we still have the momentum on our side here to hopefully ride it up to about $4.83. And if it breaks that one, you're going to $5.20. And if it breaks $5.20, you're going back up to $6, which to me would be absolutely awesome. So hoping for the best for that one. But again, long-term play, don't mind holding it. Absolutely awesome. And again, I apologize. I've been battling a cold, so sorry. The last one that we got into is Wrecker Systems. Now, Wrecker Systems here, again, a risky play, of course. This is a penny stock, as you'll see. $1.77 is what it's worth. We bought in, 100 shares worth, which to me is great because what we can do now, if I want to, is I can take this and sell some covered calls against it if I want to, because now I have 100 shares. So I could sell some covered calls, maybe for January, make $10 to kind of just add it if I really want to. I wouldn't do that right now. But we can really make some really decent money still if it goes to $2, for example. So I'm really, really happy that now I have 100 shares worth. I can now sell some covered calls on it. Now, Wrecker Systems is a little bit different because they do roadway intelligence and data-driven mobility insights. It offers comprehensive, continuous, and real-time roadway intelligence by leveraging AI, machine learning, and holistic data to support the intelligent infrastructure for smart mobility. Roadways, whether it's on land, whether it's in the air, wherever it possibly is. I know this is roadways, but like talking about, just the intelligence overall in this case here. I like it. AI, machine learning, supporting infrastructure, data centers is a huge thing and stuff like that. So I absolutely love this play here because roadways are always going to be around here. Now imagine, 5-10 years, we have like VTOLs in the air, like the passenger ones, who knows? That's with Archer Aviation. If we have more air traffic in the future, they could branch out to that one potentially. But again, using AI, machine learning, and data to support infrastructure for mobility. Everybody's moving everywhere, no matter what. It's absolutely crazy. One example, again, that I really liked, there's a private company in my where I teach, and they have AI systems set up where if people run the stop signs of the bus drivers, they get a ticket right away. It's automatic, and it's all based through AI, which I think is absolutely awesome. So again, I still think this could be definitely a very, very nice play. for the future. I'm looking at, again, long term is what I'm looking at holding in this case here, not just short term here. But as you will see, they've done really, really good. So recently, this is the last year here we're looking at. So again, missing expectations, missed, and now they're starting to kind of bridge that gap, and they're getting very close to being profitable. Their earnings aren't until March 30th, but they're getting very, very close to being profitable as a company, which is going to be a huge benefit to them. $175 you bought here, and taking a look at their actual financial side of things. They are still growing, which is absolutely great. See the market cap value, the enterprise value, everything is still showing a growth, which is absolutely awesome. Profit margins, obviously negative. Return on assets will be negative as well. Revenue growth, 34.6% year over year. Absolutely awesome. I love that. Total debt, their debt to equity ratio is below 100%, which at least is good. And their current ratio is actually very, very low for short-term, weighing up your short-term debts and stuff like that. So I'm not too, mad about this company here. I like it. And I bought these companies all on pullbacks in the day. Taking a look at REKR, Record Systems here. So what are we doing here? Oh my God. It's 2 early in the morning. Here we go. All right. So taking a look at what we have here. Here's the weekly fibs that we're looking at. As you will see, these fibs, again, they come out from a very, very long time ago, and they still have multiple touch points here. Comes back down to that yellow retracement there, which is, again, an example of seeing it. We have multiple touch points at $4 about, give or take, which is absolutely great. And, what we're looking at, we had a resistance level right here at $2.11. You can see it kind of having that kind of, big play, big resistance level at that point. What I do like about it, again, it is on the downward. It was down 6% today, so buying when it was selling off is great. The only thing that kind of sucks is that right now, if the EMA 9 crosses below the EMA 20, that means momentum is going to die off. And if it dies off, that is going to be a problem. You might see it come back down to about $1 or so, maybe even lower, down to 56 cents. But if it does, I'm buying it up anyways. I don't care. This is a riskier, series here that we're talking about. But to me, I think this could definitely have some good potential overall. And again, it's small money. It's money that I make on the side. So I'm not touching my big investments with my actual paycheck. It's a nice little side hustle, kind of see what's going on here. So we'll kind of wait and see what happens here in terms of if we get a crossover or not. But again, for the long term, I like the company. I like the play. And I can still cover calls in the meantime if I need to, so we get closer to March, which is when they'll probably have another options chain out here. When they're on their earnings, we'll probably maybe sell some covered calls maybe to capitalize on the IV. So that is kind of what we're looking at in terms of pockets to profit. What you will see now is and I can zoom in for you guys, is that this is kind of what we're looking at right now. So Xpeng, Ondas, Big Bear AI, SoundHound, Rich Tech Robotics, Record Systems, and Oyster or Aster, however you want to say it. Right now, the market value of all these combined is $480.75. My share cost, or what I'm looking at here, I've paid $483.61. So I'm up a whopping 14 cents. And what I can actually do here is, can I do this? I'm up 0.03%. Now, again, this just started, a couple weeks ago, so obviously we'll see what happens in due time. Right now, we're down on Xpeng. Right now, we're up on Ondas. We're up on Big Bear AI. We're down on SoundHound. We're up on Rich Tech already. We're break even on Record. I just bought it at market close. And Oyster, we are down. But I believe after hours, it was actually up. Yeah, 24.44. So this only updates for market time, not after hours. So this actually would be a little bit more money here as we go. Again, right now we're looking at 7 ticker symbols here. I have 7 more on my watch list that I'm going to be adding up to 6 positions with. And again, I'm buying these on red days when I see the portfolio, when I see the money come in. I'm looking at, okay, what's red? And now this spreadsheet is going to help me be able to say, oh, I'm down on Xpeng. I'm at a dollar cost average. Oh, I'm down on SoundHound. I'm at a dollar cost average, because these are companies I like for the long term. So why not buy at a discount? So that is it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did make it this far in the video, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and as always, turn on the bell notifications for all future uploads. Hope you're making money in the market in some way, shape, or form. Again, thank you guys for helping me become a YouTube partner. And as always, I will catch you guys in the next video.